PR work perfectly. And now Israel can launch that spectacular military attack. The Israeli people are calling on the government, come on, what are you waiting on? Let's wage war. In the Israeli cabinet they're calling for it. And the government is giving the impression to the world that we are restraining ourselves. How long will it be before that takes place? I don't think long. That spectacular military display is coming soon. It is my impression that when that happens, it will be the most appropriate time to bring down the international monetary system, which is already fraudulent and already vulnerable. And therefore, that will be a time when Dajjal will move from a day which is a month to a day which is like a week. Israel now emerges as the ruling power in the world. The impression is created that this is the return of the Golden Age. It is only at that time that Dajjal will now appear in a day which is like our day. I assume that he will be the ruler of Israel. And so from Jerusalem he rules the world. And so he's accomplished his mission. And the Golden Age has come back. But Banu Israel will not be able to recognize that they were deceived. It is after this that Imam al-Mahdi emerges. I have this lecture maybe tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Thursday? Tuesday. Imam al-Mahdi and the return of the Khilafah. This is the lecture on Tuesday. It is at this time that Imam al-Mahdi is going to emerge. But Imam al-Mahdi will not emerge until the water in the Sea of Galilee is dry. When Imam al-Mahdi emerges, it is that time that Isa alayhi salam will return. And he will kill Dajjal. But Isa alayhi salam cannot return until the water in the Sea of Galilee is dry. How low is the water? Is it drying up? I read the Jerusalem Post every day on the internet in order to monitor the water level in the Sea of Galilee. It is now so low as never before in history, so low, that Israel itself has declared, that is the water engineers, that they expect sometime this summer that the water level will reach so low that the Sea of Galilee can never be restored. It's going to die now. How much time will it take before that water dries up? That's the amount of time that's left. How much water will evaporate from the sun? That's the amount of time that's left. I have concluded it's not going to take 100 years. Oh no. I have concluded it is going to take less than 50 years before that water dries up. And when that water dries up, which is less than 50 years, I believe, the world will then witness the emergence of Imam al-Mahdi. And when he emerges, then Isa alayhi salam returns, the true Messiah. When he returns, he will kill Dajjal. And Gog and Magog are going to be destroyed. And then said the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, then the Holy Land will be liberated. He said, when this hadith is in Sahih, in the Sunan of Tirmizi, he said, when you see the black flags coming from the direction of Khurasan, go and join that army, even if you have to crawl over ice. Go and join that army even if you have to leave Singapore. Go and join that army. Because Allah's Khalifa, Imam al-Mahdi, is in that army. And no one will be able to stop that army until it reaches Jerusalem. And so now, we don't have time to debate this subject with those who differ with us. We don't have time for them anymore. They can differ with us. They can disbelieve all of this. It doesn't bother us. Because we know the countdown has begun. We know it's just a little bit more time. When a Muslim army will destroy the state of Israel, the Holy Land will then be liberated. The true followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam will then take control of the Holy Land. The state of Israel of Sulaiman alayhi salam will be restored by Isa alayhi salam. And the Prophet said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, he said that Jesus will rule as a just hakim adil, a just ruler from Jerusalem. And so the prophecy will be fulfilled. And the golden age will be restored. But it is the followers of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam which would have inherited the legacy of Sulaiman alayhi salam. It is now 10:20, and I have finished the first part of the lecture. That is, I have finished that part of the lecture which pertains to Dajjal in his capacity of Al-Masih. If we had the time to go to the second part, which we don't, we would now proceed to the methodology. How does Dajjal achieve his objectives? What is his methodology? The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, every messenger of Allah has warned his people about Dajjal. But I'm going to tell you something that no one has ever said before me. So this is very important. Dajjal sees with one eye, his left eye. He's blind in the right eye. It looks like a bulging grape. How could this be so important? A one-eyed man. That no prophet of Allah ever spoke about it. That this had to be saved until the very last prophet. What is there so important about a one-eyed man? There was a one-eyed man in 1967 who was a very good general. Moshe Dayan. There was a one-eyed man who led the British fleet to defeat the French at Trafalgar. Lord Nelson. So one-eyed men could do great things. So what is there so significant about Dajjal's one eye? Maybe it is not to be understood literally. Let's see. Dajjal has the word kafir written between his eyes on his forehead. Kafir. And every mu'min will be able to read it. Oh? So what about those who are not mu'min? Don't they have eyes too? How come they can't read? And this one can read. Maybe he's not reading with these eyes, Maybe. Let's see. Every mu'min will be able to read it, whether he is katib, can read and write, or ghair katib. He cannot read and write, he'll still be able to read it. So now it's clear. Now it's clear. He's not reading with these eyes. If he's not reading with these eyes, with which eyes is he reading? Do we have any other eyes beside these eyes? Do we have any other ears beside these ears? Once you can answer that question, you have penetrated the major ground of attack of Dajjal. Dajjal sees with one eye indicates that Dajjal has only external vision. And therefore knowledge comes only from external vision, the external senses. Dajjal is blind in the right eye indicates that Dajjal is internally blind. The Quran says, many ayat, the Quran says that the heart, when the heart has Iman in it, and when Allah confers upon it Nur, like Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui rahimahullah, when Allah confers upon it Nur, then the heart can see, and the heart can hear. And so Dajjal is blind in the right eye, Dajjal is internally blind. When Dajjal launches his attack, therefore, what he does is that he reduces people to a state of internal blindness. They see with only their external vision now. But said the Prophet ﷺ, Dajjal comes with two things. What are the two things? A handphone and a computer? Huh? Huh? Dajjal comes with two things. He comes with, help me somebody. Huh? No. He comes with two things. Come on somebody. Yes? Jannah and Jahannam. He comes with a river and a fire, says the Prophet ﷺ. He comes with a river and a fire. But his river is a fire. And his fire is the cool waters of a river. Whoever falls in his river will have his load of sin increased. And whoever falls in his fire would be relieved of his load of sins. In other words, the age of Dajjal will be an age in which appearance and reality would be completely different from each other. If judgment is based only on external observation, then judgment will be based on external appearance. But the internal reality is different. And so judgment would be wrong. And this is why Surah Al-Kahf has given us the story of, come on somebody, of Musa alayhi salam and Khidr alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam, because of a certain answer that he gave, we don't have the time to tell you the story now. He's now seeing with only his external sight. And on 3 occasions he formulates judgment based only on external observation. Number 1, the boat. How come only some people are shaking their heads and the others are looking at me strangely? Do you read Surah Al-Kahf? Huh? The boat. Huh? Number 2, the boy. Number 3, the wall. Those of you who are not shaking your head, you better go and read Surah Al-Kahf now. On all three occasions, he's wrong. He's wrong. His judgment is wrong. So, even if you have a PhD from MIT, if your judgment is based only on knowledge which is externally derived, then in the age of Dajjal, you'll be wrong. You'll be deceived. Because reality is the opposite of appearance. In order to be able to penetrate reality, and how great is Allah's wisdom now. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. How great is He? How great is His wisdom? That in the last age, the only ones who will be able to penetrate external appearance to reach to the reality of things, in consequence of which they will not be deceived. The only ones then will be those in whose heart there is faith. Maybe the beard is there, mashallah. Maybe the hat is there, mashallah. Maybe he's in the masjid 5 times a day, mashallah. But maybe nothing is in the heart. Nothing in the heart. So he can't see. But when the heart is turned to Allah, when the heart submits to Allah, when the heart says, I live for you, I'll die for you, then that heart, Allah will confer upon it nur. And when such a person sees with that nur, listen to this hadith. My teacher Maulana Fadlur Rahman Ansari rahimahullah was so fond of quoting this hadith from the Sunan of Tirmizi. The Prophet said sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, he said, ittaqu firasatal mu'min فَإِنَّهُ يَنْزُرُ بِالنُّورِ اللَّهِ. Fear that awesome, intuitive, internal, spiritual insight of the true mu'min. Because when he sees with the nur of Allah. And so this is Dajjal's major weapon, to reduce people to internal blindness. And so they are deceived, and their judgment is wrong, and they are tested, and they fail the test. There are many other strategies of Dajjal. Many other. Like, for example, let me give you one more and I'll finish. He said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, the last people to come out to Dajjal will be women. The last people to come out to Dajjal will be women, wanita. And a man would have to return to his home and tie down his wife and sister and daughter to protect and preserve them from Dajjal. My opinion is that this is the modern feminist revolution with its struggles for women's liberation. I wish I had the time to explain the subject to you, but on Friday night at Moise, we will inshallah be able to deal with this in greater detail. When you see the feminist revolution at work, in which, what is happening in the feminist revolution? What is the essence of the feminist revolution?
Equal opportunity.
The essence of the feminist revolution is that women should have the right, the freedom to embrace the functional role of men. if they wish to. That is the essence of the feminist revolution. That there is no functional difference between the male and the female. That you have these basic functions and you have these basic functions. No, says the feminist revolution. Anything a man does, a woman should be free to do. I saw these policewomen in Jakarta, Indonesian girls, and if you see the way they are dressed in Jakarta, it was funny. It was funny. As she assumes the functional role of a man, the modern woman, she has to dress like a man. Have you seen them in jackets, and trousers, and ties? Huh? She has to talk like a man. Her voice has to be like a man. She has to behave in a masculine way in the office, particularly if she's the boss. And so in the process of assuming the functional role of the male, in the language of the Quran now, it is like the night trying to become day. Which surah of the Quran? Come on, somebody. Which surah of the Quran? وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. That in the same way that Allah created the night and the day, so too did Allah create the male and the female. Allah wants the day to remain day, and Allah wants the night to remain night. And so he goes on to say, Inna sa'ayakum lashatta, meaning you are functionally different. With the feminist revolution, the night is now trying to become day. There are enormously dangerous implications in this, but we will take up this subject, inshallah, on Friday. I've given you just a taste of the second part of the lecture, the methodology, the strategies which will be employed by Dajjal for the purpose of pursuing his mission of testing all of mankind, and for the purpose of deceiving Banu Israel as he seeks to deliver to them what will appear to be the return of the golden age. May Allah bless and guide and assist all of those in this gathering now who return home and say, I want to study this subject. I want to study this subject seriously. O Allah, kindly help them. O Allah, kindly guide them. O Allah, kindly bless their efforts with success. If you want to study this subject, the Prophet said, which surah? Suratul Kahf. He said, recite Suratul Kahf for protection from the fitna of Dajjal. On what day? Recite it on a Friday and it will protect you until the next Friday. And so this is the surah of the Quran that you have to go into piece by piece. And inside Suratul Kahf, you will find that which will open for you the understanding of the subject. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين.
Jazakallah khairan kasiran, Maulana Imran Hosein. I guess the talk is a very, very clear talk, and I guess this talk is not just a talk where we are supposed to take whatever knowledge that comes here, go back and forget about it. Usually, when we go for talks, it goes inside our right ear and comes out into our left ear. It's always in the RAM chip rather than the ROM chip. But this talk, it must be put in the ROM chip, the read-only memory chip. And it is time for us to really reflect and look onto the mirror of what we have done. I guess we are very, very near to the last moment also. And if the Prophet ﷺ would istighfar 100 times a day, what about us? What about us, which we do not know how much sin that we have done each day? And with all these happenings around us, and Maulana Imran Hosein has shown us that the Dajjal, the false Messiah, is in his process of working. We better pull our socks up and really take our religion seriously, not just at home, but a deen has a way of our life, inshallah. I guess I only have time for 1 or 2 questions from the audience because time is running out. Tomorrow is a working day for all of us. And it's already 10:40 on my watch. This watch is already nearly 10:50. Right? So I'll open up to 1 or 2 questions before we wrap up this session. Fadal.
All right. Brother Amir Ali is suggesting that 1 day like a month is already finished. And we're now in 1 day as a week. And that Israel has already assumed the status of the superpower of the world. No, I don't agree. The United States is still the ruling power in the world. The evidence is very clear. I don't agree. But what happened in the 6-Day War is that the world got a taste of the military might that Israel can unleash. I expect, Amir Ali, sometime soon, maybe not more than a year, 2 years, 3 years, at the most 5 years, I expect this massive military attack from the side of Israel. It will be spectacular. It will be a spectacular, a dazzling display of military power on the part of Israel. I expect that to come soon. When that comes and the international monetary system collapses, okay, and you see the US dollar collapsing, I wish I had the time to give you the details of the subject. I don't. Then I believe the 1 day like a month will come to an end and the 1 day like a week will begin. It's my opinion. Yeah. Incidentally, I said that I expect these things to occur within 50 years. Namely, that the Sea of Galilee will dry up. And after the Sea of Galilee dries up, then Imam al-Mahdi returns, Isa alayhi salam comes back. But I'm not saying that the world is going to end in 50 years. No. That only Allah knows. I'd be very wrong to say that. I'm only talking about these events within the next 50 years.
Can we have the last question?
Okay. Osama bin Laden is in the territory of Afghanistan. Taliban has emerged in Afghanistan as an Islamic movement. Burhanuddin Rabbani, Hikmatyar, Ahmad Masood, none of these had that claim to Islamic legitimacy that the Taliban is claiming. I have my differences with Taliban, but the hadith speaks about Khurasan. Dr. Israr Ahmad, who is an outstanding scholar of Islam in the modern world, who lives in Pakistan, has devoted a tremendous amount of thought to this subject of Khurasan. And he has explained that when the Prophet ﷺ used the term Khurasan, he was referring to a particular territory, at the heart of which is Afghanistan, and the territories around Afghanistan, like the northwest of Pakistan and the northeast of Iran, and the territory north of Afghanistan. Okay? What is very significant about that territory of Afghanistan is that Europe could never colonize it. Europe could never colonize it. Never. The British tried, and the British failed. And then the Russians tried, and the Russians failed. That already is a significant sign that this hadith is going to win fulfillment from that part of the world. And so the presence of men like Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan is something to watch. Yes. On Friday, inshallah, Muiz, that's the topic. That's the topic. Inshallah, on Friday at Muiz.
Okay. Thank you, Maulana, for the time that you have spared to open up our blinded hearts, which has a lot of hijabs, and we are not able to see the reality of this world. Now, for other of Maulana Imran Hosein's talk, he's going to give a lecture on Quranic method of curing alcoholism and drug addiction.
Alcoholism. Yes.
Alcoholism. Imam Mahdi and the return of Khalifa, Islam and the challenges of the modern age, return of Jesus from the Islamic view, and of course the public talk, which is on the 29th of June at 8 p.m. at Muiz Auditorium, entitled Ihsan, the Spiritual Essence of Islam. With that,
the books are there?
yes, the books, Maulana's books are still on sale, and for today there are 10 books, and these 10 books are been sold at a discounted rate of $70 for one whole set. The books are in a range of $2 to $12. If you buy the whole set, 10 set, which is supposed to cost $79, a discount is being given to $70. The books can be obtained from at the gate of the mosque. And do not forget to give some of our donations to the mosque building fund for Masjid Abdul Alim As-Siddiq. Inshallah, let us end with together reciting.
The venue will be Darul Arkam at 8 p.m. at the auditorium.
Let us end this session by reciting Tasbih Kafara and Surah Al-As. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr. إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وبالله التوفيق والهداية والبركة والعناية والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.